standing in the well construction pit associated with this 19th century well that we documented earlier. It's a nice coquina stone well, but this particular 19th century feature intrudes into this very large pit that you can see coming around like this, and found within the pit were quite a few large pieces, almost reconstructible vessels of Native American pottery. And what we have right down here is a tortoise shell right there, and it's a gopher tortoise. It's quite large, it's well preserved, and we believe it dates to the early 1700s. Now, this is kind of an interesting feature for us, because normally when we find a pit this big, we assume that we're in a well. However, you can see based on the soil coloration right here that the well does not go down that deep. You still have a circular hole right here, and that may still be part of the well shaft. We just don't know. We have to take it out. But whatever happened, they abandoned this well in the early 1700s, and then they subsequently used that depression for trash. And the tortoise shell and the animal bone and the piece of pottery that you have right down there is represents the early trash that was tossed into this depression. And then we found also later trash that was on top of the earlier trash. So it's interesting to speculate what we may have here. Why would they dig such a large pit in the first place and then throw their trash into it? We do find large pits that have trash in them, but none of this size. So what we think is going on here is they may have started a well, digging out a well construction pit for another barrel well, but they stopped. Now, based on the types of pottery that we find that comes up from the earlier trash deposit, this well or this large pit would have to date during the early decade or decades of the 1700s. So it's quite possible that this particular archaeological feature was being dug in 1702 when the English attacked St. Augustine. The Spanish abandoned that particular endeavor, and then the pit was allowed to kind of fill up a little bit with sediment, and then later, after the English left after a 51-day siege, the Spanish just kind of came out of the fort, and they decided to use this as a trash dump. But what you're looking at right there is a well-preserved gopher tortoise shell.